You're listening to Pato's Powerhouse. Pato's Powerhouse. You're listening to Pato's Powerhouse. Pato's Powerhouse.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's podcast. Now, if you're listening to this, well, very happy New Year to you. Obviously, we've started the year, and yes, even though this podcast has been previously recorded, because, well, Pato is a very hardworking individual. I'm always working either both jobs and then trying to spend time with family and podcasting and recording. Like I said, we ended the year in a very awesome way, I think, personally. We've celebrated 2 years of doing this podcasting thing. And by the way, thank you for being here for the ride. Each and every single one of you, especially the hardcore ones that have been with us since the beginning, putting up with our buffoonery, with our jackassery, with everything that we do here at the Podcast Shack. And it's taken a while to find our identity. I mean, we didn't start out as the Podcast Shack. But now that we're a little bit more established, we feel that we're finding our niche. We're finding our way in this ocean of podcasts. I mean, we have Cursory Overload, which we spoiled the heck out of the Rise of Skywalker episode dropped on Sunday. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, that expect a little more structure from us. I mean, we're still going to be your goofball, friendly neighborhood, foul-mouthed podcasters, but Cursory Overload episodes are going to start dropping every Sunday. So you can expect a new Cursory Overload episode every Sunday, unless we specify that next Sunday we're skipping or something, But for the most part, that is one of our New Year's resolutions, if you can say we're having a New Year's resolution. So yes, every Sunday right around midnight, you can start off the day with either midnight or 1 o'clock. I can't remember. But bottom line is, by Sunday morning, by the time you wake up, or by the following day, Monday, when you're commuting to work or whatever it is you're doing, you will discover that there is a Cursory Overload episode there for you. And I hope you enjoyed the last one. I enjoyed reliving the moments as K-Dog was going down the line talking about the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, he did an awesome job at spoiling it. It's pretty awesome. And I, threw in my 2 cents there because I only watched it once and I was so excited. I had my mind just jumping everywhere, everything out of sequence. But it was very, 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 very good to relive that. And if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. I mean, we did warn you. If you haven't heard the episode and you haven't watched it, go watch it first. By now, I mean, obviously, you're not going to catch any crowds. Also, New Year's Day, I dropped the results to my theory, which I hope you enjoyed. I might have told the story, like I said, a little bit out of sequence there. So I was telling the story, but my focus wasn't so much on the story itself, but just in episode 76, I had a theory of what I thought was going to happen. And in episode 77, which dropped New Year's Day, I tell you basically what I thought was going to happen and what actually happened. Not necessarily the story or the plots or everything. It's just what I thought was going to happen and what actually happened and how it went. So I hope you like that. And, well, that's that. Pato's Powerhouse. We're aiming for Fridays. There'll be new episodes every Pato's Powerhouse. Well, as you can see, this one. We're dropping on Fridays. So you know that every Friday you can start off the weekend with listening to Pato, or you'll know that by the time it's time to commute to work, you'll be able to, listen to my sweet, soft, wonderful voice. Because why not, right? And thank you once again for doing so. So, as I was saying, if I am saying anything, also, Tales from the Guard Shack, we are resurfacing. I put out an episode, which it's called Back on Duty. It's out and available. If you are a security guard, this is a podcast made for security guards by security guards. Like I said, I'm not just your handsome devil, friendly neighborhood foul-mouthed podcaster. I'm also a 26-year vet in the security industry, which, I may know a thing or two about what happens on security and things like that. So that's a podcast designed to give people in the security field their props, because a lot of people just shit on them because, well, why not, right? Hollywood does it all the time, so it's cool to shit on the security guard, even though he's just there trying to pay his bills. Think about that. Come on. And yeah, you got some assholes. Like this last episode, I talked about 2 bad seeds. And I mean, those episodes, we talk about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. That way, people don't view you like such an asshole or such a lazy bum or whatever, All I want to do is bring props to the people that are out there doing what they're supposed to be doing. And of course, we plan to evolve that show into like little mini stories. My vision for 2020 is that when you hear Tales from the Guard Shack, we might have like little mini series, kind of like the Wolverine series, but you might hear like this radio mini soap opera where, we might have not just me, but the talents of many, hopefully I'm going to voice actors that will put on these little mini radio shows or podcast shows that you can listen to and take you on a different adventure. Of course, that's for Tales of the Guard Shack. Obviously, it's going to be security related, and we're going to try to make them funny and witty and, give it twists. It's going to, I don't know. I have some crazy ideas in mind. I hope you like them. Well, anyway, Tales from the Guard Shack. We're going to be dropping those on Thursdays. Of course, right now, everything is up in the air, but whenever they do drop, they're going to drop on Thursdays. Rebellion, a show where this young pup Gen Z guy, Dagard, leads the rebellion into whatever it is we're dealing with, and I just follow along. Like I said, I'm the guy in the sweater that asks all the obvious questions, kind of like The Cat in the Hat, if you watch that movie. If you haven't, then go watch it. It's been out for a while. Anyway, bottom line, on Tuesdays, that's when Rebellion is going to drop. And, I hope you follow, because we're getting a younger generation's perspective on, because we go watch a movie, we get what we get out of it. But then we're putting it out there with a young man's perspective. And of course, we're going to do all kinds of different things there. It's heading in a nice, cool direction. And also rebellion.com, which it's being worked on right now. But rebellion.com, you'll be able to access our bonfire account, which you can get Pato the Ghost Rider t-shirts. I mean, I know everybody wants one of those, right? Or you can get Cursory Overload t-shirts, Rebellion, just little things that will help us keep going here in the podcast business. Because quite honestly, we love doing this, and if you can help us out, and help us grow, that'd be awesome, And I think we got some cool ideas, and it's just cool to be seen with a Cursory Overload shirt all over the place, a shirt that says, "My friend K Duck says you can go fuck yourself." I mean, you can just walk in that to your company meeting and make sure your boss takes a good look at it. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Okay, so that's one of the things that I'm getting at right now. That's Rebellion. And of course, the newest member of the podcast family, in episode 71 here, I threatened to go full blast on Spanish, and then I realized that sometimes I mess up in Spanish, so I decided to do it in Spanglish. So far, I mean, the goal is to make it 99.9% Spanish. So, but once in a while, you're going to hear me with my anyways and my English words because that I have a hard time sometimes thinking. And I don't know. It is what it is, but the show is called SEE, which means SEE, or sandwich in Spanglish. Why sandwich? Yeah, because every time that we use an English word, that's the sandwich we're throwing out there, You know how some people, when they hear you talking Spanish, they're like, hey, come on, get your burritos out of here, or hey, quit throwing your burritos around. Well, when in that podcast, since it's completely in Spanish, when we throw in English words, well, that's a sandwich right there. Yeah, that's a sandwich. Anyway, hey, maybe if Subway's listening, we can get some kind of a deal going there, People can count down how many times we have to recur to English because we can't carry the conversation out in Spanish. And I don't know, at the end of the podcast, count down how many sandwiches I threw out there. And maybe, I don't know, we can give away gift cards from Subway. That would be awesome, right? Don't quote me on that yet. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get some sandwich shop that has gift cards to hook me up with that. I'm just saying. Also, a lot of big things coming. I'm glad you're here. I heard something on the interwebs about the word geek, nerd, how some people think it's offensive. And I did this pre-recorded thing because I knew that I was going to forget if I waited too long. So check this out.
Hey, have you ever been called a nerd? When you were a younger youngster, back in school, were you one of those geeky kids, that the other cool kids, the jocks and the cheerleader types would pick on you because it made them feel good, make them feel popular, like they were a level above you because you were a geek, you were a nerd, like, Pato, you're such a nerd. And everybody else would laugh and they would just, make fun of you. And have you noticed how how times have changed, how the tables have turned? How nowadays it's cool to be a nerd? How thanks to all the Star Wars movies, the Avengers movies, the Comic Cons, and those hot cosplayers that attend those Comic Cons. I mean, any jock would go there and claim to be a nerd just to have half a chance to hook up with one of those hot Comic Con cosplayers. I mean, seriously, have you seen some of these girls? And I imagine even the dudes that dress up, I mean, they're in shape because some of them pull off the Deadpool look, the Spider-Man look, and those things are spandex. I mean, seriously, obviously you wouldn't see Pato wearing a Deadpool costume because that I have a beer belly and I don't even drink that much beer. All I'm saying is, maybe I would have to have a special one made, probably like a combination of Deadpool and Winnie the Pooh. I would have to be like Winnie Deadpool, that's the only way I could make my gut look normal in one of those cosplay outfits. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Anyway, bottom line is, what I'm saying is, back in the day, people calling you a nerd was offensive, and it was usually by the jocks, the sports kids, the cheerleader types, the ones that were out there always bragging about partying on the weekends. All these kids were always bragging, the guys bragging that they were sexing the cheerleaders. All the hot girls in school, they were getting it on with them. And maybe some of those cases were true, some of them weren't. I mean, some of them heard about parties where they would run trains on some of this dumb little so-called cool girls. Well, anyway, nowadays the tables have turned, and you got these jocks and ex-cheerleaders probably working for nerds. The people that sign their paycheck, hire and fire them, are the same people that they used to bully back in the day. So, I mean, being a nerd is cool nowadays. I mean, now, back then I probably would have been hurt. My feelings would have been hurt if somebody called me a nerd. Now it's like, you goddamn right I'm a nerd. It's geek. It's cool. Awesome. Get your nerd on. Anyway, fuck it. That being said, in the UK, there is a psychologist who thinks that calling someone a nerd should be considered a hate crime. should be considered just as bad as using